on those subjects. Thank you.
I call Erica Stanford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to address in particular Part 2, Clause 9(1)(a)(1), and our changes to this clause around engagement with the Christchurch City Council. And I just want to give the Minister a little bit more information on this and why we came to this decision, and perhaps ask her a couple of questions following on from what Maggie Barry has said. So the Christchurch City Council came to see us in person, and they gave us a really informative submission in Christchurch, and their view was in full support of the bill to facilitate this reinstatement. And they agreed with the approach of using the Order in Council mechanism to provide this streamlined consenting process. However, the issues that were raised by the Council were, for the most part, around consultation, and I just wanted to bring it to the Minister's attention that they did bring up the fact that they were somewhat upset by the short, truncated process of the Select Committee, and that they didn't have much time to come and speak to us. So, as you can imagine, what followed on from that was the fact that they put to us that they are one of the bodies that are involved in the regulatory process required for this project. And they were concerned with their level of involvement and engagement in the Order in Council process. As the bill stood prior to any changes, the Council was only involved in the process if the Minister considered it appropriate to make information related to the draft order available under Clause 9(1)(a)(1). But we, after extensive discussions in Select Committee, in recognition of their regulatory involvement in this project, the Christchurch City Council, we identified them as a body that we should make reference to in this Clause 9 engagement. So we therefore changed that clause to state that the Minister must make available a document referred to in subsection 2 to the relevant local authorities and persons or representatives. It carries on as it did before. So we inserted that clause there, particularly after we'd heard from the Christchurch City Council and their concerns around involvement and engagement in this process. I wanted to bring this to the Minister's attention because they also, as the Honourable Maggie Barry said, they also talked to us about their need and desire to be involved in the review panel. And we did talk about this in great detail as well with the officials, who actually did say that there will most likely be people on that panel who will be experts in local council. But it was the council's intention that they did want someone on there, and that was the level of engagement that they wanted. We felt that it was appropriate to mention them in 9(1)(a)(1), but not to push any further on the review panel. And the second thing that I wanted to bring to the Minister's attention was the fact that we had many submitters, including the Christchurch City Council, tell us that there should be various other acts included in Schedule 2, including the Building Act, the Local Government Act, the Local Government Act 2002, Public Works Act, the Land Transfer Act, the Reserves Act, and also the Land Transport Act. Now, we deliberated for some time over the Land Transport Act, but on the advice from officials decided not to include that. But I want to let the Minister know that we did have quite a long discussion about the fact that we are adding a significant amount of extra acts to Schedule 2, and that was a concern for us, and the current Minister certainly doesn't fall into this category, but what we were imagining was the worst possible Minister, and certainly that is not this Minister, but not at all. But what we were thinking was, if in future there is this fictitious, awful Minister, we did want to limit their powers as much as we could, but we did feel that by putting in these additional acts, it will give this Minister flexibility to allow the reinstatement of the Christchurch Cathedral to go ahead in a timely and cost-effective measure. So I just wanted to bring those things to the Minister's attention, but in particular, that engagement with the Christchurch City Council, they were very forthright about their need to be engaged, and we did agree with them, and I would encourage the Minister to bear that in mind when she is going through the process, that we specifically listed them under 9(1)(a)(1 and hope that she keeps that in mind.
Madam Chair.
I call the Honourable Dr Megan White.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take the